Welcome back once again to the FSL Wild Rift Showdown as we feature League of Legends Wild Rift for the entire evening. I'm here with Yuko PH and my name is Contra, and all of this is presented to you by Intel and supported by Yahoo as they are our official media partners. So we've already got our very first series finished up, and we have BTR Silax, who's currently leading the leaderboard, as we'll take a look in our bracket later on to see who's coming up next in our upcoming Best of One series. So, Yuko, that was a fantastic way to start off our evening. And now that leaves me wanting more. And we saw how BTR Selects actually dominated the matchup, even though they didn't really need all these high crowd control. And guess what? Speaking of domination, you can dominate the rest of your competition with the 12th gen Intel Core. It divides so you can conquer.
Right. Of course, do not forget that we are live in different platforms. We have one Facebook Live, one YouTube Live as well, and of course, we are also live on Twitch. So, to follow up on what happened in our first best of ones, yeah, you really don't need a lot of AOE CCs. You just need very good team fights. You gotta focus on the macro because, of course, our ladies already has strong micro. We're gonna hop into the pick and ban phase for our second best of one. The teams will be K Sha. Okay, I'm gonna try to pronounce this my best way possible. K Lala and KLX Ghost.
Well, you got it right on your first go, and I was about to say shalala in the morning, but it's already up to the evening, so we go shashalala. Okay, so with that out of the way, we are already getting a few bands who's pretty much locked in. And that's the Tresh being eliminated along with the Ari. So that's definitely targeted at the mid laner of KLX Ghost, denying a little bit more mobility as well as that potential burst pickup by a mage assassin. But then again, we've had probably a lot more of the options still on the table. And we're seeing Diana being hovered and Emily being banned by KLX Ghost.
Wow, okay. From the previous best of ones, the four champions that got my attention were Jace, Ari, Diana, and Camille. Three of those got banned in the second best of one. So Jace somewhere there, I guess. I hope he comes through. But no, I jinxed it. I called it. I take full responsibility.
Well, I guess that we've already seen how much a Jace could have actually offered in the mid-game spike, where you have so many of all these great itemization builds that he can go right into, especially when you have the newly introduced Edge of Night in this preseason patch. And now that we're starting off our draft, we have that Fiora being locked away. So what's still available for that top lane domination? I'm hoping to see a Renekton, but they start off with the Galio. A really good pick for K Shashalala.
Yeah, you would want a very tanky frontliner and one that can just taunt your opponent. So with Galio already locked in, it looks like KLX Ghost would want to prioritize the lovers duo. Sai and Rakan still making a debut for our second series, and looks like there is a hover on J4 and a lock-in at that. They could possibly pick up a Baron laner. Looking forward to a Renekton or a, I don't know, Caitlyn if they're feeling pretty brave. But again, you also have other champions like Fiora, but oh, she got banned. I forgot about that. Irelia is the next best Baron laner available, and K Shashalala will lock that in.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised if this Irelia goes up to mid lane as well. We could still put the Gallo into the support role and then still do absolutely fine. And we see Vera now swapping that hover from a Seraphine into a Ziggs, and I think that's pretty smart of her to do so. Judging for the fact that if you put that Seraphine up mid, you could easily get jumped on by Irelia, and when that Vanguard's edge comes through, there's no way to run, even if you want to drop that Encore. So Renekton, as you have predicted as well as I do, will be picked up by KLX Ghost.
Yep, so you have a. I actually believe that aside from Fiora, Renekton is arguably the best Baron laner in the meta. So I'm actually happy that we got to see a crocodile for this second series. And here is the second rotation of the bands, but we'll only be having three bands for tonight. And looking forward to seeing again what who will be the marksman for the ladies in blue. Could be, I don't know, could be Caitlyn if they want to. There was a hover on Vi earlier, but they opted to something more team fight centric. So they just locked in that J4. Irelia, I love her mobility as well as her single target stuns, but she can be very demanding in the early game. Demanding in the sense that she needs to be able to snowball, get the farm, get the items, because if she doesn't, mid to late game, she will just be food for the opponents.
Indeed, and as we proceed to the second half of the draft, we see a little bit of a change of hover once again for BTR Vera, as she's hoping to make that mid matchup into somewhat of a Baron lane matchup if you put a Wukong against it, or really if she ever goes mid, I think it's still very viable, and you won't really have too much of an issues, but with the Ziggs being picked up, I guess that's where they just gotten themselves a better amount of magic burst damage potential. Shashalala herself locks in the Nami, and I think that this is definitely the best way to go around with that
Lucian?
full wombo combo that can come out of their comp right now.
Yeah, still waiting for the ADC, but the Ziggs lock in means that this will most probably be placed in the mid lane. We have the ball delivery system. If you have Ziggs, I think it's the bomb delivery system because he can just throw Mega Inferno Bomb in whichever lane that he likes. But there won't be any Lucian for the side of K Shashalala. Instead, it will be an Ezreal, a mobile ADC that has a global ultimate to, try and match out the presence that Ziggs can provide.
Indeed, and I absolutely love Ezreal in this current meta. You could still
Mm-hmm.
put him in mid lane and oftentimes and he'll still be absolutely fine, but most likely than not, it's just going to be a traditional marksman down on the bottom lane. Now, if you were to look at how things fare for the bottom laners, it feels like the poke should be good enough to lower down the health bars of Zaya or even Rakan, and KLX Ghost really has to rely on Kero here to set up the pace in order for KLX to ramp up. So, judging from the looks of it, it feels like they want to just get the snowballing from KLX Ghost and hope that Zaya could make it into the late game to become the monster to dominate K Shashalala. And well, Yuko, what are your thoughts before we head into this matchup?
Yeah, for the side of the ladies in red, I think it's just hold the early up until the mid game until our Saya can just burn them to the ground. And for the side of the ladies in blue, I believe it's literally just fight, fight, fight. You'd expect Irelia to be very mobile in the early game. We're gonna see her all around, and especially she will be placed at the Baron lane this time around. A support, rather a mid lane Galio is something that I did miss, not because we don't see it, but because Galio literally gets banned almost all the time. So this Ziggs and Galio matchup will be quite exciting and enticing for me as well.
That's right. And when we have pretty much matching global presence coming from both ends, while I really do wonder how well does this Arila fare against this Renekton. It's always going to be a skill matchup, as Ray, she'll just be hanging right back, don't want to be poked, and that ward spots both Ghost as well as her fellow laner in form of Justice, just to Gia as they will back away. So Ghost is clear for now.
Yeah, it's actually a very chill laning phase aside from, if you're Galio, because it's not very chill to see that your opponent is throwing bombs at you. And for the Baron lane side, I mean, Aurelia was able to shove some waves in and just keep Renekton at bay. So that's a bit of a leeway for Shashalala. and no invades, no ganks just yet. They would want to focus on ramping up on damage, except for that small skirmish at the Dragon Lane. There was a grand entrance, I believe, from Gia. Sadly, Ghost was not able to follow up, and the team K Shashalala was able to hold their ground. There will be the Sacred Charge coming through, will not connect onto Reggae, but looks like Kero. Man, for someone that cannot pronounce the letter R, this IGN is hurting me.
Well, don't worry, I'll get you covered for that. Just some slight pokes going around as both sides of the scuttle will be secured by respective junglers. And we want to take a look whether or not Kero will be dropping an early visit down bottom lane. When entrance sort of being used up as the aftershock goes through. A lot of damage expended onto Shimmy as she stays alive with a few honey fruits that's being left on the ground. But Kero has been spotted up by the Vision Ward as well. The bubble will not connect, but that should just at least negate the danger that's coming within reach.
They knew that Kero is down the Dragon Lane side, which pretty much gives an opening for J4 to try and get a pick off at the Baron Lane. It will be Varia with that stun.
Oh
Single
boy.
target stun, it will be flag and drag, not gonna be connecting. At the very least, he was able to dash his way into safety. So far, still a pretty even ball game. Very different from the best of one that we saw earlier, which of course it was all about fight. But now they're kind of calming down.
No worries, we'll get back into the action in a short bit. But when we take a look at how well the Renekton has been able to handle the pressure, we saw Vera was spotting out the invades coming into the golems. But then again, with that slice and dice, you could easily just navigate your way out at, and Renekton remains to be that hot prior pick hitting into the Baron lane. So I assume that there won't be too much of a hassle, especially when she hits that level 5, so she could just easily pop Dominus and just get out with just enough HP bars. But that's, of course, a little bit of assumption of what goes down. Before we hop right back in, you definitely have to check out all the brand new offerings from Intel, and with the latest 12th gen Intel Core, it divides so you can conquer, and it divides so you can stream and sketch, edit, render anything you want. It's all doable with the 12th gen Intel Core.
I have to say it. Contra will conquer. It was playing in my mind during the break before we hopped into our current best of one. But yeah, still a very calm match, and we're gonna hop into the game. Ezreal's barrier already up. It was a good try from Ghost as well as this Rakan tried and burn it out. I just have to say though, the Gia and Ghost connection, it's very strong. It's very aggressive. They were able to push Ezreal as well as Nami back, but it looks like KLX Ghost will have first dibs on this Rift Herald. J4 staring at the sides.
That's a great knockup, and immediately follow up with a tidal wave knocking onto 2, but they leave Kero be. Vanguard's edge just whipped by the edges, and that's another bubble coming in, and 2 global elements expended as they try to contest, and Shashalala gets the Herald, but with what at stake, the kill going over to the Renekton as Vera hops over the back lines to take down Mayon, and also Shashalala was taken out pretty early.
That was a 2 for none in favor of KLX, and I believe it was a good banger coming out from Shashalala. It just so happened that it did not connect, and apparently the feathers are connecting from Ghost. It will be the, of course, Mystic Thought being sent out, but no one will die in that skirmish just yet. I believe KLX did try to go with the full-on 5v5, but the Aqua Prison from Gamblings just stopped them, so that's a good bubble from Nami. Here comes Gia trying to get someone, but apparently the grand entrance will not come through, and KLX, either they would want to get the dragon or this is just a dragon dance.
It's a little bit of dance between the two of them. They do have pretty much the ult unavailable, so you're not going to be able to get the Dragon's Rage off, but that's going to be the Herald taking a few bars off. A little bit more gold, but there is the dragon being stolen by K Shashalala, and they immediately bursted down the Lee Sin to secure what was supposedly KLX Ghost's dragon.
My job here is done. That was the line from Irelia right there. KLX thought it will be a free drink, but no. Okay, Shashalala just made things happen, and I believe I saw a Yomu's Ghost Blade first item for this Lee Sin, but the taunt is gonna connect onto this Zig. Small
Oh,
skirmish here and there, and Galio, the rock, this flaming rock, just took down the bomber.
man, that feels pretty bad, I gotta say. And here comes the entrance coming out there while they could not bring down Gambling just in time, but the final kick will secure it for Kero. And Jimmy could only watch as she tries to pick them up. Oh my word!
Oh my!
What a true shot for Rush to catch a double kill. All perfectly lined up for K. Shashalala.
And here's the thing, he was initially, well, she initially was the target, and they took down the support instead, and Ezreal, okay, I have a global ultimate, you guys are lined perfectly, double kill, and then the sun's coming through, bombs being thrown out. Ernecton was not able to secure the kill, but at the very least, they will be able to protect this first outer mid lane turret. But until when? Because the ladies in blue looks like they would really want to constantly pin down the pressure.
Yeah, and I think that was probably the most magnificent true shot barrage that I've witnessed in quite a while, I must say. And, you know, KLX Ghost, they could have walked away scot-free if only they diverted their attention away. And there was honestly no reason for them to walk back towards the range of that honey food. Yeah, sure, you might want to share it eventually, but then again, they were nowhere close by. Now more pressure coming in from KLX Ghost to dive right in. Shashalala tries to lock them all down within the turret's range, but she gets bursted off instead. No escaping, especially with Wongbei, who's putting up the Mega Inferno Bomb, and that's the first turret for KLX.
Silver lining, with that one kill, KLX Ghost used 3 ultimates. So maybe for the re-engage, K Shashalala will have a bit of a leeway now. Beautifully timed the satchel charge, being able to push Ray back.
Oh, no.
But looks like Galio alongside this J4, who still has the GA by the way, will be able to get their hands on this mid lane turret. Taunts connecting, Ray being able to use Proto Belt just so the kill will not be secured. There's a trade at the Dragon Lane side. The ladies in blue was able to put a significant amount of damage onto the turret down there. Pings going through. It looks like they would want to get their hands on this Rift Herald.
Right, you got the Sawari Charge Blade already up and running for the Xayah, offering a little bit more of a good damage until these team fights, as majority of the KLX members have already taken over control up in the top side of the river to secure the Rift Herald without any form of altercation from K Shashalala, and maybe they might just consider dropping this Herald early, but majority of the members of K Shashalala are defending up the mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like let's just hold the Herald for now. Maybe win a team fight before we place it in the mid lane, or maybe even in Dragon Lane. So buffs are up, and Lee Sin was able to secure his very own, unless he wants to give it to Ziggs. Okay, just gonna give that over to Ziggs. And it looks like it will be the usual 1v1 yet again for Aurelia as well as Renekton. Renekton making his way up at the Baron lane. Cloud Drake already up, just in time for Ziggs to get the Rabadon. So maybe it's go time for our two teams.
Well, that's a perfect bubble on top of Lee Sin, and with her backing down from this fight, this is going to be easy dragons for K Shashalala to secure. And Mega Inferno Bomb just to hope for the best as they immediately go in with the Pro Belt, almost taking it down. This is the killing spree as they drop in with Vegas, locking them down as well. Power Wave will connect towards Vera while they continue the chase. She be inside of the pit, but it will be a dash coming out from the Gallo and straight to the Tiger's Den. KLX goes managing to find a 1-for-1, but Zia did not get that knockup done. Vera coming in, slice and dice, aiming for Jimmy, but she won't be able to get it with the dome being popped up. That will flush out the rest of K Shashalala, and KLX goes regains control up in the Dragon Pit.
I think that was a win for Ghost because Gia was chased by 3 champions, and you know how slippery a Rakan can be, as slippery as this Rakan as well as this Renekton. And it will be the kill going over to KLX and the life of the Cloud Dragon. K Shashalala was too focused on Gia that they forgot, wait, there's still Saya. There's still a Lee Sin. Oh no, Lee Sin actually died. There is still a Ziggs. There's a lot of damage that you will not be able to tank, and looks like that will be the nail in their coffins as well as the nail onto the turret. Another turret secured for KLX Ghost.
Momentum starting to pile up here, or should I just say ramp up with the speed. KLX goes just knowing that as they have the ball in their court, they could just shove in with majority of all these huge ticket items that's already built up. Now we take a look into some of the builds. Mayan just bought the Sunfire kit along with the GA, so they just got to ensure in the next team fight this Jarvis gets the substitution. And speaking of that, that's B calling coming in, and they will chase onto Gambling. Mega Funnel Bomb for that killing spree secured by Florong B.
Yep, and looks like they want more blood. That will be the stuns connecting on the 2, and it'll be a jump in for J4. He'll be able to get 2, and here comes Heroes, and that's where the storm being popped by the side of KLX, but it will still be a double kill going over to Irelia. She gets bombed down by the Ziggs, though. A shot down on the night, then looks like they're still trying to look for kills. J4's GA is still healthy, still alive, and overall it was a 2-for-1
Jimmy,
in
though.
favor of K Shashalala.
Jimmy stole the blue buff just in the nick of time with the final shot. But that was an interesting skirmish between the two of them, where we saw Mayan barely surviving, almost popping that Guardian Angel, especially with the smite coming down. He managed to walk away with a little bit more health bar, and I guess they managed to go in with a certain even trade. Now, slightly behind, K Shashalala just have to look for that perfect opportunity to bring them down. If they do get a pick onto Shashalala herself, that will be the best case scenario. And you know how slippery an Ezreal is when it comes down to moving into these team fights. And you have to deal with Gambling also. But here comes the knockup of Gia, forcing a flash, but they will come in with a taunt. Tidal Wave onto 2, and Shashalala didn't really manage to hit anybody with her blades, and Ray just goes into put a little bit of a push and pull, and I guess they want to secure a little bit more vantage points up on that Baron.
You were literally just talking about how mobile and slippery an Ezreal is, but apparently no one will be mobile if you have 5 champions or 4 champions pinning you down. They were able to get their hands on the life of this ADC. 9 seconds of leeway for KLX Ghost, but it looks like they're still gonna burn out the time here at the mid lane, looking for one mistake from Team K Shashalala. I think it was a good pressure coming out from Gia. Used Proto Belt, but at the expense of a flash from a Nami. And looks like it will be a sneaky Baron take from the red team.
They're
But
spotted
it
out.
will not be sneaky anymore.
And they were basically walking on top of a ward, and immediately they had to call this one off. KLX taking preemptive measures not to be caught out from the potential move of K Shashalala as they seeked out Gia. They still have the mid lane shoved out, but they will have to attend to the side lanes. Both sides being pushed with the minions. And even though they're on this gold deficit, I believe as it goes into that late game, you got to take a look at how Jimmy navigates through those team fights. And that True Shot Barrage was only the initial statement. And you look at the health bars going down. Baron is still at 60% health. Shashalala drops in the Vanguard's edge. They won't be able to connect any one of these elements as they clear off some wards being placed on that Baron pit.
That was a good stun, and you also have Mystic Shot being sent out just to make sure that Renekton will not be able to chase after Aurelia. Now, the Baron is a difficult quest to conquer. Looks like the blue team will just make their way down into Dragon Pit. They'll be able to burn this one down quickly, and then here comes KLX Ghost. Not sure if they're gonna go with Engage.
Yeah, and that was a quick takedown. And with 2 Drakes up for K Shashalala, this will help them to survive team fights a whole lot better with a perfect jump of the grand entrance. They fly too, and that kick lands onto Ray Ray. She'll not be able to pick it out even with the flash. A great pickoff, making it 11-7 for KLX. And now what they should do is to press on the attack. Gia always initiating in this team fight, now needing to dash back off. Dodges the Aqua Prison, and Shashalala just got to get that one up. They need to ensure that they find that opening pick, but then again, Ghost can always pop that Featherstorm.
I commended Gia early. I will still commend Gia for this. That pick-off was made possible by her. Still, she was not taken down. Looks like Shashalala is being chased.
Oh boy, Gia this time being caught up, and it's a perfect lockdown coming in from the Jarvan as the Calculus is dropped in, but there's no follow-up, and she will be punished. Mayan will have to say goodbye, and this time, KLX goes. Knowing for the fact that the jungler is down, it's the perfect time for Baron. As they try to secure this within grasp redemption, we'll have some vision being spotted out by Shashalala, but can they make it in time though? The Baron will go over to KLX's Vanguard Edge, will drop in. Sasha dives in, but won't be able to find it picked off against any KLX members as they have their health bars melted down.
Yeah, circling back to the fight in that mid lane, that was the best possible setup for the ladies in the blue side. You have Cataclysm, also have Tidal Wave, as well as that Crucial Barrage. I guess the problem there was either they lacked the damage, but I don't think so because it's a late game, or KLX was just very tanky. So I think it's the latter because they were able to survive that. And here comes Gia yet again with that jump in.
Easily dives back to safety, as Ghost is going to provide a little bit more extra range on the shields. Now with the Baron buff, they will exert the pressure up mid, and if they could possibly get that satchel charge off, it's going to be an easy takedown. Gamblings is just getting nuked down with the Mega Inferno Bomb. They have to give this turret up while slot lanes are being shoved with this 1-3-1 formation coming out of KLX. Ghost still pressing on the attack, but Shashalala goes in with the stun. It will have to burn a flash.
Ouch.
Not the wisest of move, but they are coming in with some dire attempt to save this best of one.
Yup, they are trying their best, but looks like KLX Ghost is just knocking onto the face of Shashalala in different lanes. They are constantly applying the pressure, and I have to say, Ghost really hurts a lot. I do not blame Aurelia for splashing to the side of the Chom coming through. You have Gia chasing Ray Ray, and it looks like it will be a jump in for J4, but instead, she paid for that with her life stuns coming through, and Ghost is still at the base of Shashalala. Proto buff in, Barrage in, you have a dash in, taunts connecting, but the shield will still be too much. The damage will not be able to penetrate the lives of their enemies, and now you have a jump in for Renekton, but Renekton is a-okay.
Look at Vera, she's literally 1 HP, and Gia managing to save her just in the nick of time once more. That's literally 13 the last I checked, so they gotta be at least counting their lucky stars. Now, good case scenario for Shashalala. With that full push, they still have the Nexus pretty much healthy, but the problem is they only had a single inhibitor left, and now with the most valuable Drake spotting up as the Elder Dragon is currently online, and KLX have got full control. A little bit of vision being set up while Kero moves in, spots out Shashalala, and they get that perfect dot, gets the Dragon Church as well. She will use the Zanya for the moment, and here comes the hero's entrance and the Tidal Wave connecting off the tree. She is all alone. Can she find everybody? Yes, she will. Gets the knockout down, Calculus to set them back, but this is going to cost Shashalala the game as they race down the base, taking down Gamblings as well. Only Shimmy left surviving, but she won't be able to fight against 4 healthy members of KLX Ghost, and this is the last hurrah. Can Jimmy defend? I think there's only a few seconds left on the clock. Nobody's gonna be coming out from the base, and this is KLX Ghost getting their first win in the league.
I thought it will be a 1 ADC in a dream, but apparently you have a lot of main waves pushing in. The death timers were too high, and KLX Ghost was able to win that. It all started when, again, it was because of, if you're gonna look at it, it was because of Gia. The Sonic Wave connected from Lee Sin, and Gia jumped in. There was a knock up. It basically forced their opponents to panic for a bit, because are we gonna re-engage? Are we gonna try and get away? But the response and the communication from KLX Ghost was very much on point, and they just stormed, got those kills. Need I tell you, that is a Saya with a 27k damage and a Ziggs with almost 40k damage. So they were very much confident with that take. And with the four champions down and Ezreal, the only one left up, Ezreal also did not have to shoot Barrage in that moment. They were just pretty much ready to take down the Nexus, and the Nexus they did take down.
What a performance coming out of KLX Ghost, and you saw that perfect jungle support duo going in to start fights. And majority of the time, even if they don't get that pick off, it's always going to be a flash being traded for, so it's absolutely worth it. And majority of the case, you look at most of the players coming from Shashalala not being able to respond after having some of all these summoning spells already being burned up. They didn't even need that Elder Drake to finish off what was basically theirs as they took over the map control. But with that beautiful game, I believe that Shashalala will still have some chances left with more matches to come. But this win definitely put KLX Goes all the way up into the top of the bracket, tying things up with the victors of our first game. And with that being said, this is the FSL Wild Rift Showdown featuring League of Legends, as it's supported by Yahoo and also presented by Intel. We'll be coming back after a few minutes break, so don't go anywhere. We'll coming back with more Wild Rift action.